What is up, guys? Welcome to your fourth Qt tutorial, and in this lesson what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving you guys a detailed explanation of what each piece of a Qt program means and how to create a very simple Qt program. So before, what I did in the second video is I was like, you know what, just drag this here, type this bit of code, press run, there you go. But I really didn't explain everything, and I didn't do that because first of all I didn't have that much time, and second of all I wanted to take this tutorial to take you guys through manually each line of the C++ code line by line and give you guys a full understanding of what each part of a project does. So first of all, let's go ahead and create an entirely new project, Qt widget project, Qt GUI application, just like before. Give it a name. Bucky sounds good. Oh my god, I got the freaking hiccups. Are you kidding me? Right in the middle of my tutorial. Go ahead and click next, 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 and finish. So basically, we got a very basic project set up. Our interface has nothing in it right now, and we actually have this extra file, this main window.cpp, and this is an extra file that we really don't even need for this tutorial because the very first function that gets called whenever our program opens up and starts running is this main function right here. So we are only interested in this function, and like I said, we don't even need this main window file.r. It's just a file that Qt gives you whenever you first start a project. So since we don't need that, let's just go ahead and not even include that. And since we don't have that class, we don't need this object or this function. So basically, the main framework behind any very basic Qt application are these four lines right here. The very first line is an include of the Qt application. Now the reason that we need to include this is because this allows you to create objects that are responsible for controlling your entire program. This is pretty much the main this is how you create the main object that do things like execute your program, which like start it up and begin running the program. So basically, this is like the main thing that you always need. That's the most simple way I can put it. Controls the main event loop technically. So that's what that does. And actually, instead of a, that isn't a very descriptive object name. I'm just going to change that to prog because that means program. It is responsible for controlling your main program. A little more descriptive object name. Now, of course, this is your main function right here. The main function that gets called is the first function whenever your program starts running. This creates the main object that controls your main program. And I guess I might as well talk about this line right now. Return program execute. What this does first is it executes your program or starts running the program. Now, once it's done running and it exits the main event loop, it returns 0, hopefully, unless you mess something up. And whenever it returns 0, that means it returns 0 to the main function, means that your program ran and ended successfully. So again, like I said, this is the very basic framework, and if you run this program, it would run successfully, but nothing would really happen because, of course, we don't have anything in our program yet. We don't have any buttons, sliders, menus. So let's go ahead and learn how to do that right now. So what I'm going to be doing for this example is I'm going to be putting some plain text on the screen. So in order to put plain text on the screen, you actually need to use something called a Q label. Now what a label is, not only does it allow you to write text in the label, but you can also use images, but we'll just worry about text for now. So in Q label allows us to create label objects. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So in order to create a very basic label in your GUI, just go ahead and write Q label, that's the class we're using it from, and label equals new, not you, new Q label, and in the constructor, go ahead and write what text do you want this label to be, or what text do you want inside this label. And I'll just go ahead and write game time, like that. So now we created a label that says game time on it, but even though we created it, it doesn't appear on the GUI until we tell it to. So in order to make it display on the screen, what we need to do is we need to use that label object and call the function show. And by the way, I've been programming Java for the last, I don't know, probably like a week or so. So if I accidentally call a function a method, please forgive me because that's what they're called in Java. But anyways, what this does right here is it takes your label, and what show does basically says, okay, display it on the screen. So now if we go ahead and run this program, we should have a nice little GUI after it's done building. Check it out. Probably the coolest program ever. It says game time right on the screen. I could play with this program for days and days. Pretty cool, huh? So there you go. That is how you create an entire program through strict C++ code, and hopefully you guys have a little more understanding of, the code instead of the designer interface, because that's what this is, a C++ tutorial.